Now, South Africans continue to do good in honour of former President Nelson Mandela. In Durban, SA Harvest partnered with several organisations to feed and clothe the hungry. For more on that initiative, we are joined by SA Harvest Sustainability Manager, Lindsay Hopkins. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on the South African Morning. Firstly, let's shed some light on SA Harvest and the work that you do.
Sorry, SA Harvest is a national food rescue organisation, and by that we mean that we take any short-dated stock or food that's close to expiry or which damaged packaging but still good to eat and still fit for human consumption, and take that back into communities in need.
Let's chat a little bit before we get into the discussion about the stats when it comes to food insecurity, world hunger, and also how much food we are wasting as a country.
Yeah, we've got at least between 10, 15,000 tons of food every day, every year that goes to landfill. Coupled with that, the food hunger is sitting at about 20 million people going to bed on a hungry stomach every night. So if you actually do the calculations and measure your tonnage down into like a 300 grand serving and have a look at how many people are starving, there should be no food waste and no hungry people.
Yeah, those stats are very shocking and saddening indeed. Talk to us about this collaborative initiative that took place on Mandela Day and how that came together.
Yeah, so the Sharks were lovely when the riots happened in 2021. We didn't have a safe home, and it literally landed with me getting a tent on one of the fields at the Sharks, and I needed over 1,000 square meters, and because we had so much food coming through, all the factories had been damaged, and everybody else without homes. So we just made a makeshift warehouse, and literally that's the start of the story, is that they let us stay there for 6 weeks, and we delivered over 1,000 tons of food in those 6 weeks. And then they kindly helped us with a warehouse which is actually on site at Kings Park, and the Kings Park, the Sharks have the Sharks Foundation, where we go and help feed people that they are looking after, or people that we're looking after, they come and help us. So we've just got it just goes around like that. And their sponsors, they had donated by Hollywood Bets some blankets, which was lovely. And then we came together with One Farm Share and Hello Choice, and we got vegetables and produce. And Clement Gold gave us some beautiful nachos. They've been a hit this season. And then we get the likes of Unitrans, which help us transport. And then we even had a corporate kitchen talk show, and the South African Chefs Association cook soup for us.
I think that days like Mandela Day are a great initiative, but the challenge is that it is only one day, and people need assistance, continuously and throughout the year. How are you at SA Harvest ensuring that this sort of initiative and assistance continues, and it isn't just a one-day, once-off kind of thing?
I think that the good thing about Mandela Day is that it's PR, and it's a celebration of Mandela. And as he said, also the other thing we need to remember, there was a quote he once said that charity isn't like a gesture; it's actually a service. It's a dignity, and it's a justice that every South African should have access to food and water. It's our constitutional right, but we don't see that following through. So that sort of thing, this is a perfect day where we say it's great for people to come out and join in the party, and it's a beautiful celebration. Everybody was so happy, given that the last few years in Durban have been terrible because you've had the floods, you've had riots. So it definitely brought a tear to my eye. And it's good for people to come out and have a look at that. But when it goes to longer term stuff, we just have to keep in touch with donors and sponsors and anybody who's interested, and just keep spreading the word out there, just creating awareness. People don't even know that there's problems with food going to landfill. It's also harmful to the environment. It releases methane gases. And we just have to ensure that we're not damaging the cold food chain. So we've got refrigerated trucks, we've got refrigerated containers. We've also got a digital platform. So everything that comes in and goes out is monitored and tracked and reported, so we can show funders. So I think when you've got a suitable solution that definitely tackles all the problems, then it's a no-brainer. But it is just about awareness and the education, and creating something that is sustainable, that's gonna last, as we are doing. I do feel we are honestly doing it very well.
Yeah, and another thing that you guys are doing very well is this collaboration of various organizations and people coming
Yeah.
together. You mentioned the Sharks, you mentioned various chefs that came together as well. Let's chat a little bit about the importance of collaboration, specifically when it comes to
Yes.
tackling issues of hunger.
Absolutely. I mean, our biggest partner on the day was Unitrans. They're a transportation company. So these guys kindly go and pick up if we've got a ton of vegetables or fruit in the middle of nowhere, then they kindly go and get their trucks and they bring it through. So I mean, your big pack houses are not sitting in the middle of Durban and or in Cape Town or Joburg or in the middle of town. Your farmers, they're far way out, and that's where we want to get to, is get the fresh produce, and because there's a nutritional value there. And there's so much waste sitting at agricultural level. There's about 50% sometimes, just because it's the wrong shape or the wrong size, and it's not going to go to market. So it just gets put back into the ground. Whereas we can use that for people. And then, yeah, the chefs just opened up their kitchens. We had hotels and restaurants throughout Durban. It was so lovely. They all came together and they pledged like 100 litres here and there. And we made a few thousand litres of soup that way. So everybody has got a part and can play a part. It does start with your own individual, like personal responsibilities and choices, and just being conscious about things like that. But it can play a bigger part to the bigger picture. So, and it's fun. It's not nasty, sad. It's really inspiring and really encouraging.